Hi guys, meal prepping can be intimidating, so I wanted to share a few tips that I've learned when I've meal prepped in the past so that you don't give up that first week that you try to meal prep or you get bored with what you're making, and I want to make sure you stay consistent and meet all of your goals. So first let's talk about why you would want to meal prep. Because it is a lot of work up front, that's true. You're making a whole lot of food in usually one day, but it's so worth it. If you have any sort of goals related to your health this year, meal prepping is going to be a great tool that helps you avoid any sort of bad snacking or picking up fast food after work because you already have a bunch of meals already ready for you in the fridge. It's also great when you work a crazy schedule, you get home from work and you don't want to make any food. You already have meals ready to go for you and you don't have to cook as soon as you get home. All right, so let's get into my tips for meal prepping. Tie into the pitfalls that you may encounter when you meal prep. So trying to figure out what those might be before they actually happen and avoid them altogether. First one, you may feel overwhelmed. You're cooking 2, 3, sometimes 4 different meals at once, and that can seem crazy. So you want to plan ahead. Tip number 1, look through your recipe book, look at your recipe app, wherever you find recipes that interest you. Pick out a few ahead of time and write down everything you need before you go grocery shopping. That way, once you get to the actual meal prepping, you're not running around trying to figure out, oh, what was I making again? Oh shoot, I forgot this ingredient for this recipe. Now I can't make it at all. So plan ahead, write out your grocery list, and you'll completely avoid feeling overwhelmed. Okay, tip number 2. You might say, well, I'll get bored eating the same thing every single day. Well, avoid that by mixing it up. You don't have to eat chicken every single night for lunch and dinner. You could make beef or turkey, or if you're vegan or vegetarian, some plant-based dishes. So try to pick some recipes that you know will satisfy you throughout the entire week, and you won't get bored after day 2 of eating grilled chicken, broccoli, and rice. Okay, tip number 3. If you don't think your recipes are going to yield enough quantity for what you need, double the recipe. Who says you can't? Sometimes I've tripled a recipe before. When I make oatmeal for the entire week, I 2.5 times it, so not quite double, not quite triple, but somewhere in between, and that way I know it's going to last me for the entire week. So just kind of take into account what the recipe is going to make and increase the ingredients as needed. Okay, and tip number 4, last one. Utilize all of the cooking methods that you have in your kitchen. So if you have a crock pot, an Instant Pot, cook on the stove, in the oven, on the grill, whatever you have at your disposal, use it, because that will only make the meal prepping process go by faster. You can have something going in the crock pot during the day on Sunday when you're just sitting around the house, and you can throw something in the Instant Pot while you're grilling chicken outside, or you have a casserole in the oven. The more places you can cook things, the quicker the meal prep will go for you. Okay, the last thing I want to mention is don't get discouraged the first time you meal prep. It is going to take quite a bit of time to get used to cooking multiple dishes at once. I will tell you, the first time I meal prepped for the week took a Sunday, and it probably took maybe 3 hours if I remember right, and who wants to spend 3 hours of their weekend making a bunch of food? No one. But as you continue to do this every single week, you do get better at it. After that first time, I brought the time down just a little bit the next week, and And after a few weeks, it was down to maybe an hour and a half to an hour to make all of this food. So just keep going, don't give up, you'll get better at it, and you'll learn how to multitask in the kitchen. Keep in mind that you can meal prep any meal that you want. Like I mentioned earlier, I make oatmeal for the week, and that's my breakfast for the entire week. You can also meal prep snacks. So think outside of just lunch and dinner. You can meal prep anything that you want to eat throughout the week. If you need any ideas for what to make, I'll leave some links down below, so check that out. I have one of my favorite recipe books that I've got probably the majority of my recipes from. It's from Fit Men Cook, and that's my all-time favorite, so check that one out. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. I put out a new video every single week, and you can also listen to the Adult Struggles podcast. A new episode comes out every Tuesday on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and Podbean. All right, thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.